I bring to you good tidings on this Sunday. James Gunn and Peter Safran and DC Studios have no future at DC, whether Netflix own Warner Brothers Discovery or Paramount. Let me be absolutely clear here. Netflix do not own Warner Brothers Discovery at this moment. Yes, Warner Brothers Discovery, their AT&T and Discovery shareholders, have agreed to sell their company, their movie studio, and HBO Max and HBO to Netflix. But Netflix have to go through antitrust, and Paramount could still challenge the sale. So nothing is set in stone. Let me be absolutely clear about that so you understand the situation. But neither Paramount or Netflix want anything to do with DC Studios, James Gunn, or Peter Safran. The plan is, when either Netflix take control of Warner Brothers Discovery or Paramount, is to abolish DC Studios. DC Studios will no longer exist, and Peter Safran and James Gunn will be out on their ear. James Gunn and Peter Safran, therefore, are temporary custodians of the DC brand, of DC Studios. Yes, they've been given an extended contract to 2027, spring 2027, because right now, Warner Brothers Discovery are in this no place, and nobody knows what the future holds, whether they're going to be owned by Netflix or Paramount. Very difficult situation for Warner Brothers Discovery as a company right now. They're on the verge of bankruptcy. They had to be sold to someone, and whoever they were going to be sold to, there would have been monopolization issues. The reason people are worried about Netflix, because they're purely a streaming company and they have no love for the theatrical cinematic system. They will reduce the WB cinematic theatrical release window. They are. But actually, this is all your fault, the public. You empowered Netflix to do what they do, to make films and release them on limited theatrical release windows. You empowered them by thinking you are quite willing and happy to sit at home and watch movies rather than go to theatres and the cinema. You did this because you gave them those figures by doing this, by turning the cinema into an event rather than a habit, which I've already discussed in previous videos. I am not comfortable with the world being at home, with people choosing to do shopping at home rather than going into physical stores. I'm not comfortable with the world sitting at home and watching movies rather than buying physical media and going to the cinema and making, movie consumption, a real world experience. Because let's be absolutely clear here. Let's be absolutely clear. Global government and corporations want you sitting at home, dribbling, buying shopping from home, and watching movies and television from home. They don't want you going outside. They were fucking loving it during the COVID pandemic when you were all locked in your homes consuming Netflix and Amazon Prime and Now TV and Disney Plus. Fucking loving it. And if it wasn't for a bunch of brave souls saying you shouldn't be trapping us in our homes, we would now be dribbling on fucking Netflix and Amazon shopping apps, right? So none of that sits comfortably with me. But if you don't want cinema to die, don't blame Netflix. Go to the fucking cinema. Go to the movie theatre. Because if Netflix do get their own way, they will kill cinema totally. They have just agreed to buy a company that makes films for the theatrical system. And Ted Sandros, has confirmed for now everything stays the same. Of course it does, because he doesn't officially own the fucking company. But he's been quite straightforward and honest. Once he does, he will reduce the Warner Brothers window, and he's framed it for the best for our members. Because if you're a Netflix subscriber, Netflix buying Warner Brothers Discovery is a great thing because you're going to have more content. You're going to have more options. I also want to read you some quotes from David Zaslav and James Gunn, so wait right there. Don't fucking go anywhere. Look at these fucking donuts. Look at them. Look at them. These fucking donuts, Gunn and Safran, will not have a future at DC under Netflix or Paramount. I have to repeat this to you. Let's read some quotes. James Gunn says theatrical releases are incredibly important for DC after Warner Brothers and Netflix merger news. The communal theatrical experience is something that is incredibly important and remarkably well suited to our big spectacle films. What big spectacle films? Superman, James. That wasn't a great spectacle now, was it? He has come out and contradicted the Netflix party line of reducing theatrical windows. How do you think that sits with Ted Sandros? I can officially tell you, not very fucking well. He's not happy with the quotes coming from Zaslav and Gunn on Bloomberg. Anyway, now I just want to read you something from the Sting account on X because I hate this. I hate this when they start this shit. Movies should be seen on the biggest screen possible. There is nothing like the magic of cinema coming to life right in front of you. Every moment feels larger than life and full of endless possibilities. No one gets to tell you how you should consume a film. If you enjoy films at the movie theatre, that's great. But if you want to sit at home watching movies with your microwave fucking popcorn, that's okay. The internet doesn't get to tell us what we should be, how we should feel, what we should think, and how we consume our shit. I've never been obsessed with the movie theatre, but I've enjoyed my experiences at the movie theatre. The movie theatre should exist for the people, but it's up to you. It's not up to Netflix. As I said earlier, if you don't want the theatrical system to die, every time Netflix release something in theatres, travel, pay the money. And I know it's not easy, because not everyone can afford to do that. But if you can afford to do that, and Netflix, when Netflix released Frankenstein for a week or 2 weeks or whatever they did, make sure they get record fucking ticket sales. So the cinematic system becomes more valuable to them than the streaming system. It's up to you, the fucking public. How do you think we got the Snyder Cut fucking released? We showed them when it was released, there was money in the Snyderverse. That's how the public make a difference. Don't be one of those bastards that says it doesn't matter what we do, we're not a powerful company. It does! We run the fucking world, the people, the consumer with money. We are the boss, not them. Never fucking forget that. I just said that. By the way, this Sting account has been blocked because these fucking people don't like anyone who speaks their truth. Anyway, David Zaslav on James Gunn and Peter Safran running DC after the Netflix and Warner Brothers merger. The work of James and Peter, the creative vision, it's compelling and a great economic return. Wow! There's no storytelling content that we have that provides a bigger palette than DC, and there's nobody around right now who can tell these stories with the same imagination and excitement. David, Mr. Zaslav, stop fucking smoking those fucking mushrooms. What's clear here by him saying it was, Gunn and Safran have given us a great economic return? He's clearly talking about Superman. Imagine they were so fucking relieved that they had that face-saving $616 million, which isn't brilliant, isn't great, but it's better than most MCU movies. Most MCU movies since Phase 4 have averaged around 300 to 400 million, right? Apart from Spider-Man No Way Home and Doctor Strange 2, Multiverse of Madness. MCU movies have averaged around 300 to 400 million. Superman made 616, or brought back 616. Considering, if you compare it to today's kind of cape shit, that is really good. So Zaslav was just really relieved that Superman made a respectable box office for them. But despite all of Zaslav's protestations, Gunn and Safran do not have a future under Netflix or Paramount. I have to repeat this for the people at the back of the fucking room. Because once this deal goes through, whether it's with Paramount or Netflix, and let me repeat, it will go to one of these companies. Warner Brothers Discovery, let me say it in block capitals like I did on my ex, is on the verge of bankruptcy. It has to be sold to one of these companies or there will not be a Warner Brothers Discovery. Warner Brothers has been running to the ground since the moment Time Warner and AOL bought them, right? Running to the fucking ground. Then they were sold to AT&T, which became Warner Media. Then they merged with Discovery, and now they're either going to be owned, swallowed up whole by Paramount, or most likely Netflix. So however much you fucking cry about Netflix owning this company, either Paramount, which is a problematic right-wing company, or Netflix are going to own this studio. And it doesn't matter what you do or what you say. If you do not want cinema to die, then start supporting cinema. If you don't want the physical stores on your high street to die, go to your local fucking shops and fucking support them. That's all it takes, people. Support the theatrical system if you care about it. If the theatrical system dies, it's not Netflix to blame. They've given you an option. You don't have to take it. You don't have to sit at home and wait for movies to be on streaming. That is your choice. I don't judge you for that, but then don't fucking cry when there's no cinemas left in the world. You want to battle for a real living world with physical stores and cinemas and 10-pin bowling and ice rinks. You like that old physical world, then fucking support it. And stop crying on the internet that evil Netflix are going to kill cinema. Netflix are not killing cinema. You are, by sitting at home and not consuming the theatrical system, right? Even with the reduced windows. And these reduced windows have been happening even before Netflix was thought of. So if you can sit there and go, Netflix are evil, they're killing cinema, blah, blah, blah. No. You're killing cinema by not supporting cinema at the end of the day. There's not enough quality movies being made for me to give theatres my money. And there lies the problem. That's why cinemas are not full. It's nothing to do with confectionery being too much money, your popcorn and your water. One twat on X goes, oh, it's nothing to do with Netflix, it's because the popcorn and the water's too much money. It's too much money, don't buy fucking confectionery. Do what all the other fucking sane normal people do. Bring your own stuff. Or maybe you don't need to stuff your face while you're watching a fucking film. Yeah? All these fucking takes by so-called experts that know better than everybody else is all a bunch of bullshit, right? Bullshit. Bollocks. You want to save cinema, save cinema. If Netflix do get WB, there's still Paramount and Disney and a bunch of other studios making movies for the theatrical system. But it's not just up to us to support the movie theatre. I don't want a world where we're all indoors, consuming shit indoors. I've told you that already. But I'm also not a movie theatre is so important person, right? I believe you should consume the films the way you want to fucking consume them because we live in a fucking free world for now. I don't want a world where we don't go outside, we don't interact and mingle with other people. I don't want that world. Global governments and these fucking companies fucking do, so they can control us, right? It's up to you to fight for the world you actually want. But Peter Safran and James Gunn are temporary custodians of the DC universe. Netflix and Paramount don't want a bar of DC Studios or Gunn and Safran. So yes, they have a little extended contract to the spring of 2027, but it's all fucking irrelevant. You Gun Bros can be celebrating this as a victory. It's not a victory. They are living on borrowed time. Mark my words, because Mick always knows. As for the Snyderverse, I'm very confident that it will be restored. But right now, nothing is going to happen, ladies and gentlemen, because Netflix do not own Warner Brothers Discovery. You may have to wait 2 years to find out if the Snyderverse is going to be restored. You may have to wait 2 years until Gunn and Safran are out on their ear, but I'll be getting an advent calendar and marking the fucking days.